Have you ever wondered how a phone or a computer works? I have. So I chose a computer programmer. As a computer programmer, I would I would be the one who would make all the computers and phones work. I've always loved computers and programming because when I was at my other school, I was on a robot team and we built a robot. I was the one who made the robot move by programming it all. If I would work as a computer programmer, I would wake up on a normal day, go to work, and program with a team. And eventually, after many months of programming, it would turn into a game or a program. My three career choices was a computer programmer, electrical engineer, and mechanical engineer. The electrical engineer was my opportunity cost, but the reason I chose computer programming was because I always loved computers and programming. Some positive incentives about being a computer programmer would be you get to have fun and work with lots of people, and another one is working with people and having fun. Another thing is you're very flexible, which means you could work as many different jobs that require computers, such as an IT person or animator or designer for many things. Some negative incentives would be it would get a little repetitive, going to work and doing the same thing every single day for months until it finally turns into something, and it would all pay off, which some people might not like, with it being very repetitive. Another thing is you would learn lots of new things, which some people might not like to learn new things. Another thing is you would sit at a desk all day and program for most days. For my budget, I made $67,000 a year, and for my monthly budget, it was about $5,500 a month. I spent $265 on housing, which I split with a roommate to lower the cost a little. And then I spent $631 on transportation, which is when I buy a 2008 Nissan Altima and drive to work and also pay for gas. I spent $290 on utilities, which was the cost of covering gas, electric, and a phone bill, which I split everything but my phone bill with my roommate. I also spent $1,636 on taxes, which is taxes and everybody needs to pay taxes. I spent $360 on food, which comes out to about $4 a meal for 3 times a day. I spent $250 on medical insurance, which is needed in case I get hurt anywhere or at my work. I spent $25 for toiletries, which covers soap, deodorant, toothpaste, and all that. I spent $2,160 about on discretionary, and that covers all the payments that extra payments that I don't really need, but I want. On my pie chart, the highest percent was my discretionary, which was about 39%, and then it was at taxes for 30%, transportation was 11%, food was 7%, and then it was 5% for medical and 5% for utilities, and then there was less than 1% for toiletries. Some of the trade-offs I made were spending less money on entertainment and getting more money for food. Another thing was spending less money on a car and getting more for my savings. And last, I spent less money on a house so I could put more money in miscellaneous for extra payments. On my resume, I went to the Houston Community College and got my associate's degree in computer science. And then I went to the Houston Baptist University to get my bachelor's in computer engineering. On my experiences, I worked at an IT programming camp and taught ages 13 to 17, teaching Java and JavaScript. I also worked at Subway making subs over the summer. And for my skills, I had programming, critical thinking, communication, teaching and self-learning. And for one of my references, I got a reference from Carla Ben, who is a programmer analysis at the Houston, Texas Programming Center. On my letter of application, it was directed towards Mr. John Peterson at Songsoft Inc., which is a programming company. I was applying for a position as a Python developer, and yeah. The websites I used and the articles that I got, one of the websites I used was Indeed.com, which shows all the different kinds of jobs and the descriptions of the jobs. Another one was IT World, which gives me information about the job, and it helps me with some of my incentives. Another thing was SoCanu.com, which gave me job information, more extra job information. And then lastly, I used Learn How to Become, which showed also extra information and showing me how to get my degrees and showing me how to become a computer programmer. For my articles, I went to articles.la Times for both of them, and it had hundreds of articles, so I picked two. One was on C++, which is a programming language, and then also I had one on JavaScript, which is another one. If you have any questions.